learned to play Strangers by Nature from Adele's 2021 album 30 before the album's released. Adele's album 30 is set for release on the 19th of November 2021. Today is the 8th of November 2021. So, am I just a crazy person? I'd like to think not. This video is based on the fact that, as it says on the wall of my studio, there are only 12 notes. Music is a simple language. It's a great language. Music is amazing and wonderful and so cool, and I'm super lucky to have so much music in my life. But it is a simple language. Simple does not mean bad or weak or inferior. Simple just means simple. There aren't that many moves within a 12-note system that any musician can make. So what I'm going to do here is make educated guesses as to how the first song, Strangers by Nature, is going to go, and throughout this video I'll also make general predictions about all of the tracks from the album 30 before it's released. Then I'll do a follow-up video after the album comes out to see how close I was. I'm going to start by guessing the types of key of each of the tracks based off their titles. Track 1, Strangers by Nature, minor. Track 2, Easy on Me, that's been released, it's in F major. I would have guessed minor from that title, so that's a little bit worrying for the rest of these predictions, but let's give it a go anyway. My Little Love, a song about her child perhaps. I'm saying major. I think minor would be an odd choice for a song about a child, unless it's about loss or something equally heartbreaking, but the song might not even be about a child. Track 4, Cry Your Heart Out, got to be minor. Surely Adele wouldn't use a major key for a song called Cry Your Heart Out. Track 5, Oh My God, sounds more like a cry for help than a song about empowerment, so I'm going to say minor. Can I Get It, major. I Drink Wine, minor. All Night Parking, minor. Woman Like Me, surely major and empowering if it's written about herself, got to be major. Hold On, major. To Be Loved, major. Love Is a Game, major. I want to teach you during this video and increase your understanding of music. That way, even if I'm completely wrong about these predictions, then there is still a point to me leaving this video online, as it's going to contain a load of useful information about music and how music works. So, we call the major and minor characteristics of a song its tonality. A song can either be in a major tonality or a minor tonality. Firstly, from a notes point of view, it doesn't matter if I'm wrong about my predictions because all major keys have relative minor keys that share the same notes. So if I guess Strangers by Nature is in E major specifically, but the song turns out to be in C sharp minor, it doesn't matter because C sharp minor uses the exact same notes as E major. But there are some extra tricks or moves we need to think about if a song is in the minor tonality rather than the major tonality. But we'll get to that. Secondly, regarding tonality, we are often taught that major is happy and minor is sad. But there are plenty of sad songs written in major tonality and plenty of happy songs that are written in minor tonality. So I personally prefer to think of major as orange and minor as blue, because blue doesn't have to be sad. It can be, but orange and blue aren't as clear-cut as happy and sad, and major and minor aren't as clear-cut as happy or sad, in my opinion. Next, I'll guess the structure of Strangers by Nature. I'm going to say intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro. I don't think a pre-chorus is likely for a first track. You want people to get into the song and not keep them waiting. That said, Tides, the first track from Ed Sheeran's recent album, does have a pre-chorus. So maybe that's just me that thinks track 1 on an album should get down to it. Comment if you agree or disagree. It's music, there's almost no such thing as right and wrong, and that's totally cool. I'm also going to say no solo on Strangers by Nature, but if there is, then it's most likely in the place where I'm predicting a bridge. If you are learning to play music, you should always look at the structure of the songs you are learning first, because that will save you time. Write down the timestamps of when each section starts to match a specific recording of the song you are learning to play. And then, every time you practice, you will have a clear map of the song, and you can more easily see which parts repeat and which parts you need to focus your precious practice time on. Time signature for Strangers by Nature, I'm going to say 4/4, and I'm going to say the entire album 30 will be in 4/4 time, apart from My Little Love and To Be Loved, which I'm going to guess are ballads and are in 6/8 time. Generally, rock and pop music mainly is in 4/4 time. That means the music is built on top of a loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. But anytime you hear a ballad or a song that makes you want to sway, then there's a good chance the song is in 6/8 time, which means the song is built on top of a loop that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, with an accent or more weight on beats 1 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which creates a pendulum-like swaying effect. Always check the time signature of a song before you start learning it. Most often it will be 4/4 time, but you can be tripped up quite badly if it's one of the exceptions with a different time signature. Specific key for Strangers by Nature, I'm going to say B minor. E minor is too metal, D minor too sad. C sharp minor could be a good second guess, but I'll go with B minor. There are 12 minor keys, unless you want to argue definitions, in which case there are possibly 10,000 plus, but I'm happy to say there are 12 minor keys. And most music is written in what are considered to be the first 6 keys. So the odds on just guessing the key of any song aren't terrible. But as you'll see, when Strangers by Nature is released and I work out the actual key of the song, you can learn to work out the key of any song pretty quickly. Intro and verse will have the same progression, because they almost always do. I'm going to say 1, 6, 3, 5, that is B minor, G major, D major, F sharp major. Notice the 5 chord is F sharp major, which comes from B harmonic minor, a very common move when writing in the minor tonality. As soon as you know a song you are trying to work out is in a minor key, you need to think about harmonic and melodic minor scales, which are just variations on the natural minor scale. That is the normal minor scale. Harmonic and melodic minor scales affect the chords which are most likely to be used in a song, so you need to know about them. If you don't, go and do some research on those topics. A thought about chord progressions. The relative position of each of the chords to each other are more important than the actual chords. For example, I'm predicting Strangers by Nature is in B minor and uses B minor, G major, D major, F sharp major for its starting progression, which even I happily admit is highly unlikely to be anywhere near correct. But the relationship between those chords, which is 1, 6, 3, 5, is far more likely to be correct, especially the prediction that the first chord of the song is chord 1 of the key. That is true of 90% of songs. Again, that said, Ed Sheeran's Tides, which is the first track of his recently released Equals album, doesn't start on chord 1 of the key that is in, depending yet again on definitions and if you know what modal harmony is. Watch my video on how to play Tides by Ed Sheeran if you have no idea what that means. But I have very good odds of Adele's Strangers by Nature starting on chord 1 of whatever the key turns out to be. And then in bar 2, there are only 6 other obvious chords for any song to go to. So I have a 1 in 6 chance of getting the second chord right, even without having ever heard this song. And there is 1 chord out of the 7 which is super uncommon in pop music, so really I have a 1 in 5 chance of getting the 2 chords right. Adele could stay on the same chord for 2 bars, but then I could just double the bars of my prediction. And there is no way of guessing when the song will change chord without hearing it. It is most common for a song to change every bar, or for chords to change every 2 beats, so twice per bar. After that, my third guess would either be every 2 bars, or a 3 beats to 1 beat ratio. Either way, there are about 4 common ways in which a song can change chords, so the odds are again pretty good. If my predictions aren't anywhere near the mark, then this will be the next 3 in the Dark song, because this is shaping up to be a pretty decent song either way. The chorus of Strangers by Nature, I'm going to predict to move to D major for a bit more power, so let's go for a 1, 3, 5, 4 based off D, so D, B minor, A and G. The bridge can be just C sharp minor, B minor, A, G, so 2, 1, 7, 6 in B minor. Or if there is a guitar solo, for example, and no bridge, then the guitar solo will most likely be over one of the existing chord progressions. Let's go with the verse progression. Songs do sometimes have new chord progressions written to go under the solos, but again, that's like 20% of songs, or maybe even less. I'd like to point out, when I made these predictions, I did so sat on my sofa, typing the text from my teleprompter, so I didn't test anything I just suggested with any instruments or anything at any point. I'm just guessing based on logic, and as I keep saying, there aren't many moves in music in general. Music is amazing, and the variety of sounds and emotions we can create with only 12 notes is fantastic, but there still aren't that many moves, and with that in mind, I highly recommend my video on how to work out songs without anything other than your instrument and a recording of the song you want to learn. To sum up, I've predicted the tonalities and time signatures of all the songs on the entire album 30 based off the titles of the songs, and I've then made more specific predictions of the first track, Strangers by Nature, including the structure, specific key and chord progression. I'll finish this video with a performance of what my predictions for Strangers by Nature sound like. I'm going to go medium tempo pop, something similar to Rolling in the Deep. The track isn't that long, it's 3 minutes and 2 seconds, so I'm a little more confident about how my suggestion of no pre-chorus is going to go into the structure. Because even I have to admit that for obvious reasons my predictions aren't likely to be 100% accurate, so this isn't a complete waste of time, grab your instrument and play along. This way you can learn a new chord progression anyway, and you could also use this as a backing track to practice writing lyrics to, or to improvise your own guitar solo over, or piano solo, ukulele solo, whatever your instrument is. Have a great day. Keep an eye out for my follow-up video comparing what I've created here to Strangers by Nature when it's actually released. I'm Pete Cook, soundtuition.com.